Okay, we'll go through the reminders once again before we get going. As a courtesy to our fellow media members, the coaches and student athletes, please silence your cell phones at this time. Recording press conference video on cell phones is prohibited. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conference. We'll have 2 mic runners. Please wait for the microphone to reach you before asking a question. Now joining us are members of the LSU Tigers, head coach Jay Johnson, student athletes Jake Brown and Anthony Ianson. Gentlemen, again, congratulations on reaching the championship finals. Coach Johnson, we'll begin with an opening statement from you.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here. In my opinion, this is one of the best days on the college baseball calendar with 307 teams in Division I to be one of the last 2 playing and practicing today. And Charles Schwab Field is a great honor and a testament to the hard work and execution of our team. I've documented it a lot. I would coach this team forever, and obviously the talent on it is exceptional. You know, just like with these 2 guys here, Anthony and Jake across the roster, but great people, completely bought into the mission of the team, and tremendous self-discipline, tremendous mental strength to go along with that talent, and very worthy of playing in the championship series, and very excited about the next couple days. Looking forward to playing a great opponent in Coastal Carolina, and Coach Schnall. I've known him for a very long time, consider him a friend, and have obviously had long-term respect for a program that's been one of the best in college baseball over the last couple decades. So wouldn't want to have it any other way, and very thankful for the team and the efforts that they put forward to put us in this position, and looking forward to a great championship series.
We'll now open it up to questions for Coach.
Coach Johnson, Chris Parks from News 13 in Myrtle Beach. Congratulations on getting to the national championship. 2-part question. Can you talk about your relationship with head coach Kevin Schnall? And then secondly, just the 16 heartbreak against Coastal Carolina when you were coaching with Arizona, please.
Yeah, for sure. I met Kevin a long time ago. Something that I learned early on was study the people that are the best at what they do. Skip Bertman, Augie Garrido, and then Gary Gilmore. You know, I was very impressed with their program. I was at a mid-major at University of San Diego as the associate head coach for 8 years, and they were kind of one that we were kind of modeling and emulating on the West Coast. And so paying attention to what they were doing, and then, you know, going out recruiting and trying to make us a national program and going after the best players. You know, I ran into Kevin on the recruiting front, and then just having good baseball conversations. And then, you know, what I've always admired about him is the pride that he's taken in his job as the recruiting coordinator and now as the head coach. So ton of respect there. As far as 2016, you know, unique situation for us. You know, I went to Arizona, and I didn't have one player that had ever played in the NCAA tournament before, and we were picked 10th out of 11 in the Pac-12. And you know, the fall we were really grinding to kind of see what we were going to be, and you know, it wasn't like a smooth deal. And then we came back in January, and there was about 5 pitchers that you started to look at and go, we're pretty good. And then a position player group that, you know, part of the reason I accepted that job because I thought there was players that could play better than they had to that point in their career. And we got the ball rolling a little bit. I think we opened at Rice, and they were ranked in the top 10, and we won 2 out of 3, and got some good wins on the board, built some confidence. And then in the postseason, you know, played really well, won regional at Louisiana Lafayette, super regional at Mississippi State, got here, and if I remember correctly, we both lost the second game and then had to both fight our way back to the losers bracket, and then won a 3-0 game and lost 2 one-run games. And you know, this is my spot in the world is Omaha. Like, this is what I dream about. And the first time being here, I just remember being very thankful to play 8 games. And in the moment was really tough. And it's no different than how I feel about this team or the 23 team or when we came here in 21 at Arizona, as they deserve to be here. And you want them to experience the full thing. And, you know, we were 1 base hit away. And it took a couple years to get past that. But it doesn't change how I feel about Cody Raymer, Bobby Dahlbeck, J.J. Matajevic, Cameron Ming. I mean, I heard from all those guys in the last 2 days about our win the other night. So that's how close that was, and it really reminds me of this team, actually. But I think what I do remember about all of that is it's really helped me the next 3 times that we've been here in terms of knowing how to prepare for this, and that was kind of my main takeaway from it.
Scooter Hobbs, Lake Charles, American Press. With both of them being left-handers, how do you handle that right field platoon, so to speak? I mean, how do you make the decision, I guess?
Yeah, I've never even really looked at it as a platoon, or nor have I ever looked at Josh or Jake as not a full-time starter. We have a national championship in 2023 largely because of Josh Pearson, both defensively and offensively, and there's nothing that he has not seen over the course of a 4-year college baseball career. If you ask me, and I don't mean this from a statistical value, but who's had the most complete 4-year career of the last 4 years of college baseball in terms of national championship, Omaha experience, regional, super regional, high level throughout the season, Josh Pearson would definitely be on that list. And Jake, in my opinion, is one of the best players on our team and provides a lot and is one of the main reasons we are here in this position. So it's literally looking at it game by game. And, we've been very fortunate with our outfield situation. Chris Stanfield's been a tremendous center fielder. Derek Carriel has to be on a very short list of one of the best freshmen in the country. And so to have 4, and even I would throw Ashton Larson into that too, 5 guys that you can run out there, not many programs have that. So we look at it game by game and try to put them all in positions to be successful, and I think we've done a good job of that this year.
Alan Blondin with Myra News in Myrtle Beach. Jay, what aspects of your team, your program, your season do you believe may give you an advantage in the series, if there is an advantage to be had?
Yeah, I think if you're at this point in the NCAA tournament, you've been battle tested, so I think that's just the way that it is. I think for our team, I don't believe there's anything we have not seen. And what I mean by that is high-level pitching, high-level bullpen, high-level defense, offenses with speed, power, hitting skills, know how to play the game, move the offense. So I feel like we're very prepared, and we really just leave it at that. I said this earlier in the week. One of my attitudes about all of this is everything is training for something, and I feel like we're well-trained, well-prepared for, in my opinion, probably the best team that we've played this year in Coastal.
Noah Bieniek, 11.7. Coach, after the Arkansas game, you mentioned that there was nobody in the city of Omaha that was happier than you that you were getting 1-2 days off, too, that you weren't playing on Thursday. I assume over the 2 days you've looked at Coastal. What do you assume are their strengths that you're preparing for? And also, Coach Schnall revealed their Game 1 starter. Are you willing to do the same?
Well, I didn't hear that yet officially, so I trust you. But and when I know, everybody else will know. So, no, I would not at this point in time. What was the question before that?
What have you learned through scouting Coastal?
Yeah, a lot, and nothing really of a surprise. I love college baseball, so there was a Tuesday or Wednesday night game. They were playing against Clemson. I was at home. We weren't playing, so maybe it was a Wednesday night, and I watched them play Clemson. So the strengths are undeniable. Great starting rotation. Use their bullpen really well. Offensively, clear identity. I think that's really important. Something we try to do as well is play to the identity of your team. They're excellent at getting the leadoff man on base. They use the bunting game about as good as anybody that does in college baseball. And again, that's a 20-year thing. That's not a 2025 team thing. They play really good defense. They don't beat themselves. You have to win the game. And I said this very similarly to when we played UCLA the other day. You have to win the game because they're very fundamentally sound, and they're gonna play the right way. So you have to execute your game plan and execute your fundamentals to earn the win against them.
Jay Scott Rabelais with The Advocate. With all the weather delays issues this year, how much have you had to embrace your inner meteorologist? And to that end, the weather forecast for the for Saturday and Sunday anyway, is very hot, with the wind just potentially howling in from right or from center, maybe blowing it out a little bit to left. You prepare for a lot of different things. How much does the weather or the potential weather factor into your preparation?
I didn't hear you say anything about lightning, right? All right, then I'm good with everything else. No, it's just part of the deal, and we talked about it after the Tuesday, game with UCLA. It's like, if I could control the weather, I wouldn't be a college baseball coach. I'd probably be doing something else. But it's just part of the deal, and I'm really thankful to Randy here and the staff, how they handled that, the professionalism, a lot of smart people working on it to keep the integrity of the games and the integrity of the tournament. From a coach's chair, when you're competing for a championship, that's really important. And so thank you for that, and great job. As far as the conditions, playing all 8 games here in 2023, we had wind blowing straight in for the majority of the tournament, and then we had the wind blowing out that one game against Florida, and it's shifted. And it's just something that you kind of expect, this time of year, and the conditions change. As far as the heat, just want the players to be ready for that, and we've dealt with it in the postseason. The Super Regional Game 1 against West Virginia is no question the hottest baseball game I've ever been a part of. I just stood on the top steps, gave signs, walked out, made a couple pitching changes, and Saturday night I was like, man, that was something else. I don't know how Luis Hernandez or Steven Milam or Kate Anderson getting through 7 innings in that game were doing it. So luckily, we've had a lot thrown at us that I think keeps us prepared, and just try to stay out ahead of it and use all things to our advantage.
Hey, Jay. Corey Diaz with the USA Today Network and the Daily Advertiser. It seems like outside of the state of Louisiana, America's rooting interest is with Coastal. Do you guys like that?
I wouldn't even know how to gauge that. They're a great program for a long time. LSU's a great program for a long time. 2 worthy opponents in the College World Series, and it'll make for excellent baseball. Fortunately, being in this deal 3 times, you're not playing a team that doesn't care about and invest in baseball in the championship series, or really in the College World Series. So I think it's awesome.
Ryan McGee, ESPN. Coach, a lot of people this weekend will focus on the differences between an LSU and a Coastal, a Sun Belt versus SEC and all that. What would you tell those folks that there's maybe more similarities between the programs than they realize?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities. I would say recruiting at an elite level, and that might mean different things. I think I have a unique perspective on this. I haven't always been at LSU, or even Arizona. It was, Point Loma Nazarene, University of San Diego, University of Nevada. And I know what it's like to try to build one of those, and when you knock off that Power 5, how that lifts you in the regular season, not only in the postseason, and the attitude that you have to carry, to be that and to do that. So I have great respect for that, but this is about execution, and it's about baseball, and it's about pitchers throwing strikes, your defense handling the ball, your offense stringing quality at bats together. And when I look at their team, I see a lot of our team.
Ainsley Flood, The Reveille. Something you've praised a lot about this team this season is their maturity and their mental strength. Exactly how big was that in pushing through the Arkansas game, and how crucial will that be this weekend?
It was everything in that game, and it'll be everything this weekend. And, the longer I do this, the older I get, it really simplifies of what you need to do to get here and to succeed here. And I think that was on full display. And how the game transpired and the end of it like kind of flooded me with like, I can't believe we just did that. But at the same time, we've done it several times this year. And I'm just very impressed with our players' ability to focus on the task at hand, focus on execution, completely eliminate the external, and focus on what's relevant. Like, that's a core principle of our program, is focusing on what's relevant. And these guys do a great job of that.
John Eads, WFP TV in Baton Rouge. Coach, after the regional, you mentioned that y'all had a big players meeting. The players spoke. I'm wondering, since that meeting, what was said that's been impactful, and how has the team evolved since then and gone on this tear in the Supers and obviously here in Omaha?
Yeah, I think, again, whether it's Omaha, Super Regional, we don't attach anything to it. We try to be awesome at our process of winning, and part of that is feedback. There's a really good book called Legacy about the All Blacks rugby team that never lost, and there's a core principle in there of team and player meetings and then presenting feedback for improvement, and even as you're at the top of your game, adjusting and improving. And that's just something that I've tried to bring to the program. And we did it the other night. This was unbelievable. I wasn't going to stop the celebration and go like, okay, guys, now let's break the game down here. But when we got back to the hotel, we needed to do it. And, so Chase Shore's, coming up and talking, and Jacob Myers coming up, and Zach Cowan coming up and talking. That's just part of our deal. So I actually don't even remember specifically which one you were talking about, just because it's kind of commonplace with how we roll.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. I asked the players about handling the spotlight, and clearly you have a lot of, eyes on your program, I guess. How have you instructed them, or what tools have you used to help them navigate their successes and failures?
It's a really good question. It's honestly one of the reasons I took the job in the first place, was to test myself, test what I believe in, and spotlight, no spotlight. The fundamentals of winning and running an elite Division I baseball program are exactly the same. And our opponent does it really well. And we do it really, really well. And it's proven to work out the way that I thought it would. But I wanted to test it in an arena where it's only a blessing to have so many people care about what you're doing. And that is what I will say about LSU, is there's not another baseball program in the entire country where more people care about what you're doing. And I think it's an awesome honor for these players, because their effort deserves people to care about what they're doing. No different than our opponent. And but I think it's something that makes it special. But the challenge, not the challenge, the coaching point is of, regardless if one person is watching or the eyes of the world are on you, execution is execution. And toughness is your ability to focus on what you need to do to execute your plan, regardless of circumstances.
We're going to have time for one more question for Coach.
Koki Riley with The Advocate. Coach, after the Little Rock loss, it felt like you guys found a formula with the lineup for lefties and for righties that has sort of really helped out and worked out for you guys up to this point. What did you sort of learn in that game that sort of informed the sort of formulas for lefties and righties up to now?
Yeah, I don't know that it has to do with left or right so much. I had this year, when we were 31-3, or somebody 22-1, somebody had said, and caught a really good roll of what the formula for winning was with this team early in the season. And then you're going to get tested with the schedule that we play and exposed, which in my opinion is a good thing. And I mentioned that everything is training for something and being built for postseason play. All of that was kind of thrown into a bucket to move us closer to our best team. And you guys have heard me say for 4 years, we treat every game like a playoff game, because forget Omaha, being in the NCAA tournament is not a birthright. You have to win games. And so I think we were just continually using the season as it came along to find out what works best. And just even to the other night, it was a grind to get to the starting lineup, knowing what Arkansas was going to do, what they had available in the bullpen. And it literally probably took till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it doesn't have as much to do with how you set it as how the players execute. And we have them all in a really good space to execute at a high level, and they have talent and they have ability, and you can win against some of the best teams in the country. As far as that game, I don't remember anything specifically that kind of catapulted us forward.
That'll conclude our press conference. Coach Johnson, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hammond Community